world's authority on Shaman King, and I think you should listen to everything he has to say. Today we are reviewing for the Anime4All podcast, and we're talking about Shaman King and its many similarities to Dragon Ball Z and other popular animes. Jacques, do you want to summarize what the episode's like this year? Oh, wait, we got to look at analytics. It looks like we've picked up 6 new viewers from Brazil, 1 from Anaconda, and 2 from Ethiopia, which is fantastic. Hello to Brazil, and 1 from Anaconda, and 2 from Ethiopia, which is fantastic. Hello to Brazil, and 1 from Anaconda, and 2 from Ethiopia, which is fantastic. Hello to Brazil, and 1 from Anaconda, and 2 from Ethiopia, which is fantastic. Hello to Brazil, and 1 from Anaconda,
Hello, you still there?
Is the phone still here?
I muted you just so I could listen to the Switch. Like, so I was like, I had to listen to the Twitch log. I was like, are we live? I didn't want to stop you because you're on a roll. I guess on the
Sure.
topic of the analytics, I mean, well, first of all, I mean, you already did everything here. Yeah, I'm the Game 109 with Jock Spirit the Helmet. We're here for the next episode for the Anime4All podcast. We are reaching the end of the year. This has been a wild ride. I don't think season 3 for us will be starting anytime soon, which will be continue on this season 2 train because I think we were like 100 episodes in for season 1, so I think we'll keep that train till at least we're well aware of we're 100 episodes in before season 3 for us starts. But I guess before we continue, he brought up analytics, even though Ethiopia I don't think is something that it tracks, which would be funny if it did. We'll find out in a minute. Cause I don't even think is Africa even located on here. Yeah, it is. Never mind. Actually, speaking of that, there is absolutely nobody watching in Africa.
What about Anaconda?
Anaconda. Man, I'm really bad at finding places on the map.
Jeremy.
Not a real place.
No, it's not a real place, Jeremy.
I swear I thought Anaconda. Oh, I'm thinking Antarctica. Never mind. Shoot.
I'm tweeting that.
Of course you are.
Just convinced my friend, the Game Hunter. Is that what is your Twitter name?
I ain't gonna connect my to that tweet.
I'll just look it up. I can find this no matter whether you help me or not.
You got to work for a thing. I'm not helping you.
Fine. I'll be able to find her, I'm sure.
Okay, well, on that, with my public emulation being live streamed and being MP3 to the rest of the world, we're gonna continue on with the episodes 31 and 32 of Shaman King. Last time we left off, we were dealing with the aftermath of Ren's death. Also, doing a little backstory with
Found it.
how Yo and Anna met. Which I guess before we actually talk about this, I want to say that I think last time we were talking about this, I mentioned how I wasn't that interested. I guess with this whole backstory with Yo, and I know you mentioned that like this is like a way for us to find out more about why Yo's the way he is. I'm finding this actually a little more interesting towards Anna more than Yo. I mean, Yo was definitely a huge part of this, but I feel like this we're learning a whole heck of a lot more about Anna here than we initially introduced to her because she just showed up in episode 2 and that was about it. She was just there. She was just overbearing girlfriend, soon to be wife of Yo. We didn't know why they were either in love with each other or if they were even in love with each other. Which is another thing I was kind of very confused with. But we found out here that apparently not only was Yo in love with Anna when they first met, uh, Anna slowly started falling in love with Yo, which was kind of sweet. At least by the end of this, I mean, based on what I can see by the episode 32's ending, it seems like very clear that at some point, we see why she's in love with Yo. but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. With Shaman King episode 30, Mount Oso I'm ruining this name. Vole 2. The summary here. That
Or
was Spanish.
deux. Deux is French for two. Les voleurs deux.
Summary for episode 31 is Yoh learns Anna has the power to read people's minds, while her emotions can create Onis. Meanwhile, Matamune remembers he was Hao's partner when he was a part of Patch, but betrayed him alongside Yoken Asakura in the previous tournament. Actually, speaking of before we continue, Anna's ability to read minds.
Would be so good in bed.
I
Or
mean,
so.
yes. I mean, yes and no. But what I want to
Would it be
bring
good in
up,
bed, or would it be really bad in bed though?
I had no idea. I don't have any experience with women. You know this.
Would she be like? Would she be like, "Oh my God, you're disgusting," or would she be like, "Oh my God, that's so hot," or would it depend on the person? I have so many questions.
I think that'll be depending on the person. But what I wanted to bring up was the fact that now that I guess the basics of what Anna is here is, and I thought about this earlier after watching this episode. Uh, they just pretty much declared Anna to be a very powerful empath.
They did.
Like usually empaths in any fiction typically are powerful to begin with, and also depending on the type of empath you are, power scaling is like all over the freaking place. But with her ability to read minds, uh, to me it makes those other episodes that she was a part of interesting to me because if she can read the minds of people, does that mean she had been reading minds the entire show up to this point? Because it doesn't seem like Anna's power was turned off. I mean, we don't know that yet until like the ending of this thing. But it to me it makes so many other things make so much more sense to me. Like her being able to bind Hao's spirits. That didn't make any sense to me when it first happened. But thanks to this episode, it actually makes more sense why she was able to do that. Was that the only
Yeah,
one? Was that the only one who
it does
did?
make a lot of sense. I mean, we knew that she had a little bit more going on than we expected. I just didn't think it was a whole new power. I thought we were going to find out that she had a power. I just didn't think it was going to be such a big deal.
Well, I
I
didn't
thought
think
it was going to
I
be
didn't
like,
think she
oh,
had a
she's
real
really
power at
good and
all. I
powerful.
mean, with
I'd
the
be
way
super surprised.
I mean, with the way her powers first worked when they first introduced them to us in episode 3, whatever, when she used to bring a spirit from the afterlife and then throw it into Yo. I thought that was the max of her abilities. I thought that was all she was going to be useful for, and they didn't really use her that much for that later on anyway. We found out here that apparently it's a whole heck of a lot more. She's able to like bring demons into existence just based on her emotions, which is like
Mhm.
another part of empath abilities. They can't control their abilities because their abilities are linked to their emotional state. I thought about a perfect comparison of her to this is Raven from Teen Titans. She's an empath. She locks her emotions away specifically for that purpose. She doesn't want to feel things. I found it interesting that there's like that Anna is like, wow, that's. I'm more interested in her character thanks to this episode now. Before I wasn't. As you said before, it's really interesting how now she isn't just this love interest anymore. I mean, she is still a love interest, but she's more than that now, based on all this power scaling that they showed of her. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. On top of that,
she's
this is
got a
2
lot
years
going on
ago.
for her. And they made her extremely worthy.
I mean, it just like it's interesting. That's what I want to say. I mean, we can talk more about that as we go through these notes because you have 3 pages of notes for this first episode. No,
Yeah,
four,
a
four and
lot of it's in the mountain.
3.5. Uh, Let's see here on your notes here. We have Mount Osori translates to Dread Mount. Oh, okay, so you got that. You got that translated. Thank you. Gateway to Hell, where souls pause on their way to the underworld, also commonly referred to as Fear Mountain. Interesting. Um, so these are
It's a
actually
great place.
these are.
It's like a tourist site and like a spiritual center in the country that it's in the part of Japan that it's in, and people go there and go through. There's like a yearly festival that people go to, and they they meet with these mediums that used to be like blind women, but they're not blind anymore. And they channel the spirits of dead, and it's supposed to be like sort of like a gateway to hell kind of place. And there's a river that's in there, and they see that river as kind of like the river Styx, which you might be familiar with, which is one of the rivers in hell. Or is it Leaf? I think it's Styx or Leaf that they see it as, and that you can travel through the like, you travel over the river to, I think it's Styx, that you travel over to get to the afterlife. Like it's one of the rivers you have to cross over, and they leave rocks, like piles of rocks behind them to keep people away and stuff like that. And there's all these things, so it's a perfect like location for like a Shaman King episode. Like, but it's also kind of cool that it's, you know, cultural like that. There's all sorts of like, it's a location of an active volcano, even though it hasn't erupted in forever, over 1,000 years or something like that. But there's still like boiling liquids everywhere and sulfur gases that smell like rotten eggs and stuff like that, and all sorts of things that kind of make it like hell-like. And but it also has a lot of historical significance. There was a Buddhist monk that was looking for a place that would looked extremely like one of a specific heavenly place in their philosophy, and he found it, and he said, this is the place on earth that most closely resembles this sacred place. So it's since become one of the three most sacred places in Japan in the first place, because it resembled the world of Buddha, like as described. So he saw it as the world of Buddha, and like, you know, that halfway point between living and death anyway. So it's really really cool. You can't get there at all in the winter. There's like one road to it, so it's interesting that they even mention like it's the off season. You can't even get there now because there's no path. There is a footpath, but it's like really hard to cross. But other than that, the one road that you can get to, they don't really make it open in the winter. So even that like little detail of like how it's like different in the winter than it is in the summer is like totally accurate to what's going on there. So I thought that was really really cool that they had like all these different things, you know, trying to do that. And the souls of like dead children and unborn babies are building piles of pebbles along the riverbed in an attempt to get to the other side and stuff like that. I think it's, you know, I'm sorry, in Jizo, the pebbles don't keep the demons away. It's the Jizo, a popular spirit in Japanese Buddhism that is protecting the souls from evil demons that are constantly trying to destroy the pebbles that keep them like away, or at least keep the babies from crossing to the other side. So I just thought it was like super cool, like the deep like philosophical stuff that this was in here. You know what I mean? And then the lake too. Is that the lake that's in the area is supposed to be the boundary between the earth and the underworld. And that's actually the one that's referenced, like the river Styx. I'm sorry, not a river. There is a river involved too, but I'm not sure if I mentioned it in here or completely remember what it's all about. But I just really enjoyed like learning about all that stuff as part of the process, you know?
Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, that was a lot for me to take. And I was listening. I was just trying to, follow it all in your notes here, Mr. Teacher.
Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem at all.
Most of it was from my notes, but I have a lot in my memory too. So I was trying to like, you know, not just read the notes, but actually process it and stuff like that. But it was also interesting that it was discovered over 1,000 years ago, when 1,000 is like such a landmark amount of time in the series. You know what I mean? Like the cat is 1,000 years old, and that seems to be like a big breaking point, you know, and the fact that the shaman thing is every 500 years. So they've had roughly would have about 2 shaman events like over the course of this, and the other one was really significant. So I think it's all kind of funny. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I guess as we're getting slowly towards that, here at 5:15, you bring up Spirit Cat Matamune. Matamune accuses Yoh of love at first sight. I want to look this up real quick because something about the demons and Nikamata in him are like referenced to be similar. I just want to make sure that I want to make sure yokai. I think that's what he is. He's a yokai. Okay, our class is supernatural entities in Japanese folklore. Okay, so that's what I didn't quite understand. To be specific, Masamune, the cat with the two tails, he's a yokai. He's technically a demon, but not in the way that we think of demon. He's more of like he's just a supernatural entity that's just you know got his own. He's got his own like as you can see here, he's got his own way of thinking. He's got his own personality and everything like that. He's got his own like
Well, he's a
uh.
cat.
Well, I mean, besides that, he's got his own agency. He's able to do what he wants, which is clearly you can see here.
Yeah.
But he's not a demon in the sense of like what we I guess think of demons as. He's a demon, but it's not necessarily a demon. I guess is the best way to put it. Uh,
Well, a two-tailed cat would be a Nekomata. Is
which
that
is
what
like
you're?
yeah, which is a yokai.
Yeah.
They're technically he's a supernatural. I guess the best way to put it, he's a supernatural entity that can be confused to be a demon depending on who's defining it.
As
He's
they
not.
gain their natural supernatural powers, they grow in size, walk on their hind legs, and use human language. The older, experienced ones teach the younger ones to walk on the legs, and the picture in the page. Once they get their powers, some run away from their towns to hide in the mountains. They become large human-eating monsters. Although these particular legends may actually be animals infected with rabies. Um, that's kind of cool. They haunt their once owners with visitations from dead relatives, summon fireballs.
Which is kind of
Um,
what he's doing here, kind of with like how being in Asakura a long time ago.
yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of what he is. Is that I at least want to have a good look at that. Uh, yeah, like Yo, like I guess as they're talking, then yeah, his episode kind of goes on. We start seeing connections between Yo, Anna with the demons. We also start learning a whole heck of a lot more about Anna here, which is cool. We found out that she's actually a recluse. Because at first nobody knows why. uh I mean Yo's grandmother knows she's really powerful and whatnot, and she wants him to save her. As we learn later on that her and Hao's powers are actually very similar, almost similar to the point where we learned that at some point the main reason why Hao went crazy is because he had resentment towards humanity, and it's essentially he wants to purge all of Earth of humans except for shamans because he doesn't think that humans are worthy of being on the planet.
it's
Uh,
funny too because that fits so perfectly in with Yo's belief that all shamans are good. Because it's always been all shamans are good except for that guy. You know what I mean? But here we see that even that shaman started out good and is kind of like spiritually sick. It's not his natural form to be evil. A very empathetic like view on that, I thought.
I guess I'm just trying to figure this more. I mean, I don't think there's more to Hal than we already know right now, but I'm just hoping maybe there's more. But based on his interaction with Masamune and what he gave Masamune later on. But also as Yo was talking with Masamune, he's also bringing the fact that Anna told him to die and how mean that was. And apparently he was gonna go tell her off, but his grandmother told him to stop because it wasn't gonna do him any good because Anna doesn't listen to anybody, which is also kind of funny. Considering how Anna acts now versus how she acted back then. Which, by the way, this is all in 2 years. By the way, I think they're 12 right now in the current timeline. This is when they're 10 years old. So a lot of this happens in 2 years. Like this is a long time, but uh, you also bring up that Chingpo and Chinka mean penis. That is something I was already aware of, and I really wish you didn't have to type that in your notes.
You didn't have to read it out loud. You didn't have to read it. I just put it in there for my notes. Notes do not mean oration.
Moving on, we also learned that here as well that apparently Anna can read minds, which is I'm still kind of curious. I'm wondering if she's been reading minds the entire time, since she's been in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she could have been, or maybe she just stopped. I had no idea. That's something. That's a power that I'm still kind of confused about.
It's
Like,
possible that she learned to control it, so that it wasn't like so it doesn't run wild the way it does. That would explain how she kind of quote unquote got better. If she was younger and having difficulty, remember they said like they said Yo's problem was that he couldn't control powers. So and they said it takes a great power to bring out a great power.
Hmm.
It's possible that their contribution to each other was completely mutual, and that as he learned how to control his power by being around her, she also learns to control her power and turn her empathy on and off, so it's not so tragic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would imagine that maybe that's why she's so in control of herself. Like the new version of her is extremely in control of herself, so that would kind of track that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, I guess another thing too is that it's revealed that Anna's aura is what brings in the demons, which is I guess is kind of interesting that she's a giant light, like a lighthouse for demons coming towards them. And
It's not exactly like that though. What it is she gets like she starts reflecting the feelings of the people around her, and that negativity that she picks up from the people around her is what creates the aura problem. So the
she's still
demons
a
start.
lighthouse. She's still kind of a lighthouse. I mean, it's not like it's not an on purpose lighthouse. It's an accidental one. She's a beacon. She doesn't want to be, which is clearly she said here. She doesn't even. The main reason why she was trying to push Yo away is because she didn't want Yo to be getting hurt. So clearly she's had problems before, and it's probably why she's an orphan.
Yeah.
Her parents probably died because of this. Um, though I think he said her parents abandoned her, so I don't know whether there's a translation error or whatever. But like her ability draws demons in. It's not on purpose. We see this several times. Even the first incidents of the demon attacking Yo, Anna actually passes Yo first before the demon even pops up, which is something I didn't even think of the sequence of events. So it's kind of interesting in a really way. Anna is well aware of what she's doing, but she can't control it. But she does have a random instance of control when a demons that she brought to the. Then again, I think it's more of a demon she created. But the demon she quote unquote created was going to attack Yo, and her panic to save Yo ends up killing it, like demanifesting the demon altogether before he can attack Yo. Though it does cause a lot of damage in
Are we
the
sure that
process.
Anna did that?
Huh?
Are we sure that Anna did that?
Anna says that she did it. She doesn't know how she did it. There's nobody else there that could have done it. I don't think even Manamune got there before it
She's never
disappeared.
done that before, so it's very possible then that Yo is the catalyst there, right?
Yeah, I mean, she said that all she thought about was trying to help Yo, and that's when it happened. Though here at the later second episode, she can't turn the demon off. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that
Um,
demon's much more powerful though.
but yeah, she kind of manifested it though to be more powerful because she mentions that she doesn't like being around a lot of people anyway. But we'll
What
get
I'm
to that in a
saying
minute.
is, like, it's one thing to take a little tiny demon and control it. It's another thing to take like the most powerful demon you've ever seen and control it the second time you've tried to use your power. I could see how the challenge would be a little bit different for the most powerful demon you'd ever seen versus just some dude that crawled out of the pond.
Well, that demon made it seem like he was created by her, but we'll get to that in a minute. Well, in a few minutes actually. I guess here, like, I guess there's actually a really weird symbolism going on with paper cranes, and you have it here. Here, no, it's the Orizuru folded Suru crane. Ori folded Suru means crane. Our paper crane is a design that is considered to be the most classic. Yeah, it's origami. I don't figure out. I guess if you found something here that I didn't know about. Oh,
So
you just defined paper crane. Okay.
there's a thing about paper cranes where you can fold them and you can string them together from like their most narrow points. And one of the interesting things about it is that there's significance to 1,000 of them strung together, which is it's like a specific thing that they do with a design. And if you can do it, if you can take 1,000 paper cranes and string them together, you're granted one wish. Super relevant in this episode where everybody's making wishes on New Year's Eve, first of all. And second of all, like, there's that thousand, like, number 1,000 significance again. Do you know what I mean? That keeps coming up. You know, that the mountain that was 1,000 years old, the cat that's 1,000 years old, and now 1,000 cranes. Like, the 1,000 just keeps showing up in this episode. So I don't know if I'd call it anything symbolic, but it's definitely some kind of motif. And then you have then you have the color black, and I looked it up, and black can mean things like strength and power, but black and white typically is more like funeral colors in most cultures, and also in Japanese culture. So it seems like black, in this case, the black, thousand black cranes would be more like the funeral colors than necessarily like anything else. So I thought that was interesting that it's more like a dark wish, like a thousand black crane. If a thousand white cranes is a wish of anything you want, then a thousand black ones would be the opposite of that, like the anti-wish. Like
Hmm.
maybe the last thing you wanted.
So, and I was just, if y'all just reading on to the next portion here about Nakaoni, but I guess the city that they're in right now. You also brought down that Naka is a city inside Japan, well, in the Irabakari prefecture of Japan. You are the Naka is a human relationship. That's interesting. Actually, that's kind of interesting. Actually, now considering that, I guess that's what's kind of what's happening here is that they're trying to get Anna to have a relationship with Yo to save her. Is what the words they keep on saying is that they're trying to save her from like what happened to How,
Right.
which is I mean, I guess also want to bring this up too. That is, the whole idea of her kind of having similarities to How also makes sense about why How even allowed her to slap him in the first place. He probably wasn't prepared to deal with the demons that she probably could summon if he were to, I guess, aggravate her.
Or it's just how's I'm sorry, Yo's tendency to um sort of absorb negativity. Like negativity just falls right off him. So she slaps him, and
No, I'm
he's
talking
like,
about How.
"Oh, Yo,
How.
I don't know how."
I'm, t- I'm talking about how dang it, man. You know, I'm gonna move on here. I don't think there's anything here. I mean, you bring up Oni as a kind of demon, well, kind of yokai. Your name is in the way of this sentence, but kind of a yokai, which we know that which is a Nikomata, which is what Masamune is.
Mm-hmm.
Demons, orcs, ogres, anything within like folklore, Japanese folklore, or even just like fairy tales in general. Typically, anything in
Mm-hmm.
those things is what is a yokai. They're not really
It's got a
demons.
horn coming out of its head. It can be red, black, blue, yellow, or white. One thing I thought it was interesting was that they're known for cannibalism, and the first thing this thing does when it can is like eat a bunch of spirits. Kind of, I know he absorbs them, but like you see him like lick one off his lips and stuff like that. It's very like eating. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They become tamer in modern culture, and even like sort of like gargoyles that like they mount statues of them on buildings to scare away other spirits and things like that. So it can be sort of a protector spirit, but it doesn't seem like that's what they're going for here at all. It seems like this is more like the much more traditional version of the spirit.
Wait, yeah, okay. I just noticed I was going through your notes as you were, I guess, like coming, I guess, doing a big overview, a summary, what you had down here.
Yeah.
There's an anime called Peach Boy, but you in here have it's a well-known fairy tale called Momotaro, which is translated to Peach Boy. I didn't know this.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't. Like, I guess, is there anything you could think of within anything you found in your research about that show that could have been applied here?
Unfortunately, I didn't know that that was so significant, so I just kind of like just kept it in there as
Okay, no, that's no problem. I don't think it's any real significance. I mean, if you couldn't find anything, or if it didn't, you didn't something you didn't think was important. I just kind of remembered this because I wasn't aware. I don't the things anything I've seen of that show, it didn't appear to me to be fairy tale inspired, but I could be going completely 100% wrong. I didn't know Peach Boy was a fairy tale at all, and I didn't know it was popular.
hmm I didn't know. I've never heard of it before, but it's really cool to hear that.
Oh wow, I looked up Momotaro, and it's a popular hero in Japanese folklore for sure. Yeah. Literally translated to Peach Boy. Uh, his name translates to Peach Taro, a common Japanese masculine name, and is and often translated as Peach Boy. Momotaro is a title character of various books, films, and other works that portray the tale of this hero. So the anime I'm talking about might just be borrowing the name. It might not mean anything. There is a popular notion that Momotaro is a local hero of Okayama Prefecture, but this claim was invented in the modern era and is not accepted as consensus in scholarly circles. Oh wow, it looks like well, I mean the idea of Peach. Well, he was born from a giant peach.
Like James?
Dang it, John.
Is his father a peach?
Momotaro was born from a giant peach, which was found floating down a river by an old childless woman who was washing clothes there. The woman, and this is a translated, I guess, story, summarized story. The woman and her husband discovered the child when they tried to open the peach to eat it. The child explained that he has been bestowed by the gods to be their son. This is
But
very like the
his father
Christianity, Jesus thing. But what?
is his father, or is his father not the son of a peach?
No, as far as I can
Okay, so
tell.
he's not a son of a peach. Okay.
The couple named him Momotaro, Momo meaning peach, Taro meaning eldest son. So they named him the oldest peach.
That's funny.
When he was 5 years old, he was
I
he.
mean, we have things that don't seem odd to us that might seem odd to somebody else, like naming people month names or calling them Amber.
No, I get
Things
that. I
like
mean, I'm
that.
not really making fun of him, more just like pointing out what that literally means. People can run with that, whatever they want. Uh, when he was 5 years old, he was able to cut a big tree with just an old knife. Yeah, this is definitely a fairy tale. When he matured into adolescence, Momotaro left his parents to fight a band of Oni, demons or ogres, who marauded over their land by seeking them out in a distant island where they dwelled, a place called Onigashima or Demon Island. En route, Momotaro met and befriended Talking Dog, Monkey, Pheasant, who agreed to help him with his quest in exchange for a portion of his rations. Dumplings. At the island, they bring out dumplings in this episode too, which is funny. Actually, they
Mhm.
bring out dumplings at the festival where
I
there's a
feel
lot of
like this
people
episode
actually.
isn't doing anything by mistake. I feel like it's really one of the more intricately built episodes I've come across of this.
At the island, Momotaro and his animal friends penetrated the demon's fort and beat the band of demons into surrendering. Momotaro and his new friends returned home with the demons' plundered treasure and demon chief as a captive. Oh wow. Let's see. This standard type of Momotaro was defined and popularized due to them being printed in school textbooks during the Meiji era. Huh. So they literally call, I guess, stories of this type. They call them Momotaros.
That's super cool. See
Huh.
what I mean? This is like the richest anime that you would never fully realize.
Wait, there's another story. It's another story. I guess does not Momotaro was not born from Peach. It's apparently about like an elderly couple who aided Peach and regained their youth. It's a subtype, and apparently it's called rejuvenation type. Kashin Gata, I guess is how you pronounce it. Kaishun. Um, well, the other subtypes are termed birth from fruits. So the Momotaro that I just read, that one's a Kaisei Gata. But the other one, but I guess being returning to your youth, is Kaishun Gata. I know I'm butchering all that, and I apologize, Japanese people who are watching this. I apologize. Uh, yeah, I didn't notice. Okay, this is interesting. I need to look at that Momotaro anime to see if there's any connection. Um, but let's see here. Where was I in your notes? Yeah, I guess this would be all that we see with the Oni that popped up. Well, the first Oni that he ran into when his first interaction with Anna out in the daylight. Anna, Yoh is accused of destroying the storefront, which is kind of funny. As a demon, but it was a demon doing it, but the storefront owner couldn't see him, but knew it was an evil spirit. In one line, Yoh won, sort of. I know
Right,
what
like
you
it's
mean.
unclear on why the demon disappeared, but at least it wasn't there and Yoh was alive.
And we move on to Matsusume or Masamune. Regrets a day 500 years ago. We found out that Matsumune's original master was in fact Hasakura. Asakura, sorry. Um, That's interesting, and also it makes that one scene I mentioned last week about there was a visual image of a guy holding a giant sword, and you can see Masamune in the distance, like in a big like one of those mural like images where he's just this big image over in the distance over a mountain. So like that.
Too, I looked this up, and I didn't click on any wiki things or anything like that. But from the Google search, I accidentally excuse me, saw something that didn't seem to be much of a spoiler, but it looks like this whole thing, this whole story of the day 500 years ago was like part of a prequel to the series. It sounds like it's something that I didn't want to look any deeper because I didn't want to find anything I shouldn't know. But that didn't seem like a spoiler, knowing that they actually developed that whole thing into a prequel story.
Yeah, I know the creator of the series did something more, and I think he's actively still doing stuff for the manga for Shaman King. I don't think he's doing anything. From what I know, the new stuff he's working on right now is supposed to be about I don't think this is much of a spoiler because we know they get married, but Anna and Yo's kid. Like in the future they actually have a kid. I think they're doing something. I don't know what's going on there. I just know they actually have a kid.
Yeah.
So like he's doing something. I guess he's still interested in doing Shaman King, and who knows? Maybe I don't think they're going. I think this is going to be the only Shaman King thing we get. Um, but like maybe some OVAs show up, dealing with some of the backstory of whatever happened 500 years ago, or 1,000 years ago actually, with with Masamune and how. Well, also we found out too the main reason why Masamune is no longer around is clearly he uses up all the Furyoku he has to defeat the demon that they end up fighting. So he literally just passes on after using up all the power that Hao gave him all those years ago, which is cool, and also brings the fact that why Hao and him are the same age. Literally, they're like 1,000 years old because they came from the same era. Uh, Here you have Masamune bringing up the fact that he's the reason why Hao lost in the first Shaman King tournament because he turned on him 500 years ago. Uh, well, 500 years ago at the time that we're seeing him reminisce about it. Uh, which is cool. Yeah, you bring it up here that I see the reference some prequel to the Shaman King. Don't know what's going on there. An interesting Easter egg. A moment ago in the series, they mentioned references to a piece of work, which I happen to know is a Hamlet reference.
What a piece of work is a man. It's part of the to be or not to be speech. And it's just interesting that they specifically said piece of work because that wouldn't translate very well. Do you know what I mean? I was like, what caught me about it is like, I was like, it's interesting they said piece of work because I was like, I wonder what Japanese phrase would tie in one to one with a Shakespeare quote. And what I think really was going on there is that it was a Shakespeare quote that they were quoting. And then it was interesting to me that they had that scene. And then you have at the opening of Hamlet, which is the quote that's from, you have this really interesting scene where the guards are walking along and they're really freaking out about the possibility of ghosts in the area. And they're being really, really spooked by ghosts. And then in this, you have two guards, which was the exact number, doing pretty much the same thing the guards were doing in the first place, acting spooked about ghosts. And it's like it was almost like a lot of it was very not unlike a recreation of that scene. And it's not like a big reference there, but it's such a close parallel that I couldn't miss it.
I'm glad you got something from that because I remember there was a phrase that I know the cat says, but I know I feel like I've seen that phrase somewhere before, but because
He just said it in there. He said something about someone being a piece of work, and I was like, I didn't wasn't worth me going back for the exact second, but I was like, that's interesting because like how did they translate it over to that? And then I saw that, and I was like, that's really interesting that like now this is happening. And they also mentioned the cold at some point, how cold it is. And that's one of the first lines of Hamlet as well, where he says it's bitter cold. And they had a mention of cold in that scene too. And I was like, that's super interesting. Like they were talking about the cold and ghosts, and those are the exact two topics two guards were talking about in the opening scene of Hamlet, Francisco and Bernardo.
That's intriguing. Actually, speaking of that scene here, after all that happens, we see the very first instance of a living Masamune, or I should say a nameless cat because he didn't have one. He was an abandoned cat. And apparently, how being able to read his mind, because we learned about this much earlier on, um,
Hmm.
how being able to read the cat's mind was able to tell that not only was the cat able to see ghosts, he also could tell that he was abandoned. And because the cat was capable of seeing ghosts, it didn't run away from them. He took the cat in and essentially, after the cat died, managed to make him his guardian spirit. But I guess one of the interesting things here is the fact that you bring up that how had a change as well. That he seemed more. He had a crazy situation happen to him at some point, and he turned crazy. Here he seems the most sane and most stable we've actually seen him from this entire series. Uh,
Yeah.
and he takes in a cat that he doesn't know. This thing could have rabies. I think even one of the guards bring it up that he could be diseased.
He assumes that it's diseased.
I think one of the guards bring up that he might be diseased. I know he says that the cat has a plague, which actually, funnily enough, there's been a plague happening during the time when Hal was around, so that's even more interesting. There's been a lot of death happening around him.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know if the plague has anything to do with him, but it's interesting that we see in the time era that he was originally from, there was a plague happening, and they keep bringing that up too. There was a plague happening. Uh, But he brings in the cat, and we also see that a little bit of like what like life was with Hal. He takes a liking to his cat so much that he brings him to his house. We also see that I think you bring up earlier on about guardian deities guarding demons from crossing over. We see a guardian spirit that Hal made apparently because he's that powerful. Uh, guarding guarding special spots in over throughout Tokyo or Japan, and he brings the fact that there was like they're there specifically for whenever there are huge gatherings of people and prevent demons and whatnot from or bad spirits from affecting the affecting people, innocent people and whatnot. So it's interesting that there's talks of guardian spirit in Japanese folklore, and there's one here that we get a chance to see, and the cat can see it, which is interesting too. That I guess another thing too about for some people who probably don't know, it's been stated that animals are more sensitive to the spiritual than we are at
Hmm.
times. So sometimes they can see things that we don't. Typically, when your dog is barking at something you can't see, that doesn't mean that nothing's there. It's probably seeing something that or sensing something you can't. Um, which is a scary thought nonetheless. But you never know. It's interesting that this cat here, how can see that it can see dead people.
They don't even know they're dead.
Dang it. Let's see here. Reishi, see here. I think you probably can explain this a bit more. Because you bring up a lot of Taoist stuff. Oh, shoot, there is a lot here. Uh, I guess this is talking about what he did to Masamune when he was alive. Yeah, you even have used for immortality and bolded. During that scene where he like the cat is like growling at the spirit that no one else can see but him and the cat,
Hmm.
he gives him a necklace endowed with his well, he tells him to wear it the entire time while he's alive, and then the moment that he dies it would imbue him with near immortality, and he'll be able to live for, I guess he said he can live virtually forever with it. And we
Hmm.
also learned that apparently the main reason why he's capable of doing that is because he endowed it with his own Furyoku, which is interesting that he can just give away his own energy like that. And and put it into something and then give it to somebody else to use it as a medium for them to be able to physically exist, which I guess is the reason why one of the main reasons why Matsumune is capable, it has a physical body and why he can sleep and why he can eat, which is something that Yo brings up a lot too, is the fact that he's never seen spirits affect the physical realm, and this is the first time he's ever seen it. Which is also another thing too. I'm actually kind of curious. Does that mean when we get to present day, is that what's going to actually start happening? We're going to start seeing things affecting the physical realm all of a sudden. Because we haven't seen any of that until like, just now in this flashback.
Hmm. It would be
Uh,
pretty cool.
I feel like what's probably going to happen because they bring it up here, and that's what's Hal's abilities. We don't know
What
much
do you
about
think of this? Sorry, go ahead.
Hal's abilities in general. Uh,
So it looks like drug use is what brought his downfall.
what do you mean?
Because he uses reishi,
Is
which
that a
are
drug?
yeah, it's a drug. It's a woody mushroom that was seen as a medicinal thing in old times, and they were believed to be a medicine for a lot of different ways. But another thing it would do is it was hallucinogenic, and it would was believed to give people that took it the opportunity to see spirits or become spirits themselves. And the idea here is that and it's also used for immortality, which is what we're seeing with Hal anyway. You know what I mean? That he's basically immortal, that he can keep being reborn, so he's therefore immortal. Do you know what I mean? The same way that, like, I don't know, Avatar is immortal. Um, so he's immortal, and he's also got this like spiritual opening. You know what I mean? That he's like kind of opened himself up with this mushroom. So, and it's hallucinogenic, so maybe it made him a little less stable. So that would explain why he was.
Wait. Are you trying to say that our main villain is tripping balls?
I'm saying that I'm sure that Shaman King has made the medicinal uses of this legitimate. Do you know what I mean? That he's
Are are
also
are you saying that he's tripping balls?
yes, yes.
Okay.
But I'm also saying that it contributed to his current immortality, that um
Well,
and
according
that
to here, I mean, what
his
I mean,
ability to communicate with like spirits and stuff like that, or become one himself.
I guess that makes sense. I guess what I mean, basically, what I took from all this, I mean, I didn't really get any of that mushroom stuff. I really saw the word reishi, but when I saw reishi, I immediately thought about bleach. But that's beside the point. Uh, but
So Bleach is tripping balls.
I don't know what's going on in Bleach. I mean, reishi, like according to them, at least in that anime, I think it's like a spiritual like cloak or something like that. I don't know. I have to rewatch Bleach to understand what happened there. I haven't seen that anime in years. But what was I about to say here? No, I like a lot of like House insanity was the fact that he couldn't stand. I mean, he saw in the hearts of humans and he didn't like what he was seeing, and essentially made him crazy to the point where he started manifesting demons, which is also an interesting point to bring it to. Apparently, he wasn't manifesting demons at first. He got to a point where he started manifesting demons,
Mm-hmm. But
which
it
is,
seemed like these were contributing to his loss of control. You know, either
I
by
mean,
expanding his power or loosening his hold on it, or both.
I can see it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that like at least when his like he was losing his grip on reality regardless. If the mushrooms really made him lose the complete grip, then I mean, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I mean like, but I didn't see all that. And I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know. I saw the word reishi, and I was like, and after that, things were kind of a blur.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a contact high from that. I had no idea.
Were you tripping balls?
I don't know. I got a contact high from all that. I don't know. I don't think you get a contact high from an animation with the words reishi in it. But with that, we're gonna move on to episode 32, which is a continuation of this. By the way, there's another part to this backstory because this episode ends on a cliffhanger. I'm very upset. Uh, but see, episode 32, Mount Orsur Levili, whatever, butchering that name. As Yo and Anna grow closer, Gal closer, the former learns of the latter's powers involving reading memories. During a festival, Anna's powers summon a super Oni, which kidnaps her, while Tamuna goes with Yo to save her. That's the basics of what happened there. I mean, not much more to say there. Uh, Anna's, I guess her full name is Koyama Anna. That must have been her name when she had a family. Uh, I guess we see them go on a date, quote unquote. I guess what you can consider that. They were alone in the room watching. I couldn't tell you what was happening on that. I don't remember that. What looked like that looked like what they were watching to be the equivalent of MTV. Back when MTV was actually making music videos and whatnot. And they have their own. They both have their own like favorite musician, but I want to bring attention to Aiwa Ringo. Uh, I guess I want to say before I go into IY Ringo, was there any like I guess like pop culture reference that could be attributed to Bob, the guy with the black guy with the afro and the unicorn?
Maybe what Bob Marley? Are you saying?
Well, the guy named Bob from the singer that Yo wanted to see.
Yeah. Why would that not be Bob Marley?
Was there any symbolism with Bob Marley and unicorns?
Bob Marley was kind of like not unicorn so much, but that I know of, but definitely a proponent of the pot leaf insignia that's all over his stuff. If you look, you can't look up Bob Marley without a pot leaf like showing up somewhere in search.
I wanna prove you wrong real quick.
I just did it. Bob Marley.
I don't see any pot leaves.
Just trust me. If you scroll down a little bit and
I
image
I
search a little
I
bit,
am I am well, I mean the image not at the image search, but I see a lot of his images. Oh man, time was not kind to Bob Marley.
perhaps not. Perhaps not. But if you looked around long enough, you'd see it's a pretty common iconic image of the pot leaf. Try Bob Marley logo. That might be better for you.
I don't want to see the images that pop up when I say Bob Marley logo.
No, if you do Bob Marley logo, you'll see at least one pot leaf. That and the peace sign are really common for him. So anyway, Bob Marley's pretty well connected to it. Dude's got a pot leaf on all his clothes. That explains the pot leaf. It's not just literally pot leaf, it's a Bob Marley logo. You know.
Dude,
It
who the
makes a
heck
lot
is Ringo a reference to?
Ringo Starr.
Who? Wait,
Ringo Starr is the only Ringo in music, and that's one of the Beatles.
but that woman is a like a goth like I mean, not goth like she has like some death metal in her I think not death metal I'm just saying words now but
Hang on. What about Yoko Ono? Look up Yoko Ono and tell me what you think about that. That's Ringo's wife.
huh apparently this person is still active. Songwriter, peace activist, Hewing, Nationality, 1969, the Vietnam War.
It's a stretch, but that's the best I can do for that reference.
She probably doesn't have to be a reference to anybody. I just thought like I was more like fixated on that Bob character.
Ringo is like over the top famous. Like Ringo Starr is one of the most famous Beatles, and like probably the second famous or third most famous. And if you know anything about the history of music, like Ringo Starr is like way up there. He's like a living legend if he's still alive. And then Yoko and Ringo's fallout, or is it John Lennon? It's John Lennon and Yoko Ono. That was her. That was his wife. But it's not impossible that that's the reference. It's very subtle if that's the case. But it's the best I can do. It's just Ringo is so overwhelmingly probably Ringo Starr reference that I can't tell you what else it could be.
Well, the reason I'm bringing her up mainly is because the similarities between her and Anna that
Well,
you'll
Ringo
bring up.
Starr's still alive. He's 81. Sorry, go ahead.
The only reason I bring her up is like the similarities that Yo brings up between her and Anna, where Anna brings up the fact that Ringo isn't as mean as she appears. She's just like putting up a front to protect herself because of her emotional vulnerability, and Yo brings us up, and he's like, and Anna gets all embarrassed, and we get a little funny scene with Anna and Yo, and she's telling him to leave again, even though Yo's not gonna leave, and like he's like, I'm not gonna leave because, and I find this scene funny to me because when I first watched it, I forgot Anna could read minds. So when she turned red, I was like, what happened? And then immediately I was like, oh, she can read minds. Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I had to rewind that scene just to get the good, better context of it. But I find it kind of funny that like she could read minds, so she was able to read whatever dirty thing was in his mind at that time.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure all it was the fact that I love you and whatnot, or you're really pretty. It was probably one of those two, and it made her really embarrassed, which is typical of anime chicks in anime period. You call them pretty, they get all embarrassed. But
She's pretty vulnerable too, and if you're feeling that feeling point blank, it's obvious they had sort of a love at first sight thing going on.
I know. I mean, I brought it up earlier that I find this entire thing, as much as I didn't like it before, I actually like it way more now, mainly because we get more insight on Anna, who I think who we needed the insight more on than Yo. Not saying we
Mm-hmm.
didn't need Yo, we didn't need insight on Yo, but I think we needed it more for Anna because her dedication, her devotion to Yo was kind of really random. It was still random all the way up until this point. Now we know how far they came from to get
And
where
now
they
it
are
makes
right
almost
now.
perfect sense, yeah.
Huh?
It makes almost perfect sense now how someone with her attitude would be so close to Yo.
Yeah, I mean, all this is like making sense. She clearly didn't find Yo gross and whatnot, and she cared enough about Yo to tell him to leave her alone because she didn't want him to get hurt. Something that
Mm-hmm.
on a present day wouldn't show too much. So
She'd still mean it. She just wouldn't show it.
I'm not saying I mean she just wouldn't show it. I'm just saying that it is like she wouldn't be emotionally vulnerable. Though later on in the series we've seen her be emotionally vulnerable to a point. Not all the way, but we've seen a lot. We've seen her be more vulnerable as of late, present day.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of cool that we get a chance to see that those two are kind of like having dates all throughout the thing, just getting to know each other. Uh, Looking at this like little line here. Well, I guess before that, Yo's trying to help Anna cope with her abilities and whatnot, and because she's like she doesn't like being around people because of what it does, to her mind and whatnot. And Yo makes a promise to her to fix it. And then we get to the crux of why she really wants Yo to be Shaman King. It's actually kind of sweet and almost kind of selfish because both of them have kind of a selfish motivation to be Shaman King.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Yo isn't really trying to be a hero, so it's just like one of those situations where it's like it's sweet, but also kind of selfish because he wants an easy life, but she wants to be rid of her powers, or at least have them in check. Uh, So it's kind of funny in a really weird way. It's like they both have a very selfish interest vested in this, but it's noble in a really weird way. Um, Yo wants to make the world an easier place for shamans to live in. Anna wants to be able to have her powers in check. So it's like they kind of balance.
It's
The
non-selfish if you realize that she's another potential how.
yeah, I mean that aside, I mean
Mm-hmm.
that aside, it's like they balance each other out. Is what I'm trying to say. They if they are truly balance each other's powers out just by being near each other, which is an amazing uh connection by the way. But
We got that, don't we, honey? Oh, yes, we do. My wife just came in. Oh, we balance each other's powers out and keep each other in check. And we complement each other so well, don't we? Yep. Yeah. Oh. Did you come to say goodnight, honey? Oh, can I have a big kiss?
well, that's Jock and his wife. Everyone, say hello and goodbye to Mrs. Spear Magic Helmet if she can hear.
Bye.
Oh, she can hear me. I didn't know you were gonna put me on speaker. Dang it, Jock.
You've been on speaker the whole time.
Oh, I have been. Dang it.
Every single podcast, yeah.
Bye.
He's gone.
Dang it.
I'm the worst.
Yes, you are. But I don't mean that. Jeez. Um,
You think I'm the worst?
moving on here, just trying to get a quick look through your notes. Also using my own memory from the episode too, just to make sure I can bounce anything out here. But yeah, Yo invites Anna to the temple to the temple so she can make a wish for New Year's, which is a motif that's been brought up a lot. That's New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. Sorry, New Year's Eve day. Yo takes her to the thing. He takes her to the temple or asks her to go to the temple with him. She's very against it at first, and then she goes with him. Another instance of Yo's ability to make people feel calm, even Anna. And he promises to her that he either like he'll either they either wish away her that wish for her to get control of her powers, or he'll become Shaman King to help her put it in check or to fix it, is what he says. And again, this is like one of those situations where it shows like the relationship and how like I guess how comfortable they are around each other. Uh,
Mhm.
it makes those first episodes make more sense now, even though I'm still kind of confused about why he's so afraid of her during training, which I'm hoping maybe has something to do with her abilities to draw demons in. I'm guessing it's the only
Mhm.
other thing I can make. It's the only other thing that can make sense to me. So it must be her demon drawing powers in. So who knows? The grandmother is concerned, that her being near a lot of people and self his wishes is gonna, just really stir up her powers, which she wasn't wrong. But Matsumune says that he'll go out there to stop any demons that go out there that pop up. But this is only learned that Matsumune is Furyoku is actually starting to drain. And this fight's going to be his last apparently. Which
But
is
it's a nice full circle thing for him that he like lost How, and now he's gonna stop another How from happening.
I mean, yeah,
So
he's
it's,
I mean
it's a nice
he's
character arc completion if that's what ends up happening, which it looks like it's going to.
I have the tremendous feeling that he's going to disappear, and that's why we don't see him. Because even with him being a wandering spirit, you think he would show up at least once in one of these episodes, so it makes sense why he doesn't exist anymore, or at least
Yeah.
why he passed on. Uh, let's see here. Oh, you keep bringing up the 108, 108 earthly desires, 108 defilements and pure thoughts. Yeah, this is like what's all happening at the at the temple. I mean, everybody's gonna be wishing for whatever they want, selfish or not. Uh, they get attacked by demons, and Yo is running around, and he tells Anna to run. Anna is, of course, not going to run because she's apparently lost all movement in her legs, or all feeling in her legs. Um, you bring up the fact that Naka Oni actually is absorbing and cannibalizing all the smaller demons and grows larger. And this is the first time we see this, and we also see him transform or at least level up. And he turns into a red Oni, who we also learn through his fight with Masamune is sentient. He's intelligent, which is also dangerous because apparently the other ones that were being the other demons that showing up weren't capable of intelligent thought, but this one is. And essentially, I guess to quickly sum this up, he ends up losing his arm in the fight with Masamune as he uses I guess a huge portion of his power to cut his arm off. He takes the arm off and starts running, captures Anna, gets her to summon at least a couple of demons, and they weren't enough. So he ends up taking her and running to the land where like souls pass through to go into the afterlife.
Right.
And essentially, as he's running, the episode cuts off. The demon is approximately 2 minutes old. Declares it's always follows through with threats.
It's true. Because I always follow through with my threats and be like, what, from like a couple minutes ago? That's when you were born.
He's not wrong. You're not wrong.
Because if
I didn't even think about that.
Mhm. I thought it was pretty silly.
I guess before the episode ends, like Yo ends up like running after Anna. He gets captured, and we see this repetition actually pop up before because in present day he brings us up that he does feel sorrow and regret. He said he feels sorry. He's trying to save Anna because he brought her out here when she didn't want to be a part of the festival. Like, she knew what was going to happen, and he was feeling sorry for himself, and he was feeling sorry that he brought her out here, we see this, we see him do this at some point in the future. I forgot when it happens, but he feels upset or whatever. Oh no, when Manta gets opened up by Dr. Faust, he feels bad for Manta there. But I guess actually Anna was present in the episode too when that happened. There's a lot of episodes where Anna was present, and I was wondering what she was doing there. But I guess these episodes have done a good job of like really fleshing out Anna and his relationship because sometimes it felt one-sided.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie. So
I can't wait to see Yo's spirit bomb at the end of this.
why, Jock? Why?
Because he meets the old man. The old man's like, "I owe you one," and I feel like maybe what he's going to do is be able to gather a lot of positive energy that he can then deploy at his demonic enemy in a way that they're humbled by the collective positive energy and spirit of the people in general. Oh wait, this is Shaman King. They don't deal with spirits.
What?
Oh, they do deal with spirits. It would actually be perfect. Okay, so they deal with the spirit, and they say that I don't know, they maybe some sort of attack based on the positive energy of all these people on this creature that's created out of negative energy, and he creates I don't know, like a ball or a bomb of energy of some sort that then can be used to negate the negative energy of his enemy. And it would be like it wouldn't hurt him to touch it, but it would hurt anyone evil to touch it because it affects negative energy. No, that's silly. They would never put that in an anime.
You done, Jock?
Yep.
You had your fun?
I had a lot of fun, sir.
I could tell because you weren't stopping. You didn't even take a breath from that. You just kept on going.
It was really good. I may or may not have like hopped myself up on something before this call because I'm pretty sure that's evident.
I hope it was caffeine and nothing else.
It was nothing. Nothing. Not even caffeine. This is my natural state of mania.
Is this your final form?
No, it's not even my final form.
Okay, I think we've reached the end of the I guess the hysteria that just happened there. That I had no part of. And I think we had to reach the end of the episodes too. These episodes are really good. I will say, all in all, Shaman King from episode 1 to 32 been really good. I've been introduced to a lot of new things I didn't know about the Shaman King universe, which I'm happy about. Because if I remember correctly, the original anime of this ended really weird. Actually, the ending didn't make any dang sense. Uh, I'm gonna say it here because I don't think it's gonna happen in this thing because that wasn't really officially canon. Manta apparently gets the ability to be a shaman. I don't think that happens here. I could be wrong, and if I did, I am sorry I spoiled that. But it doesn't make any dang sense. I mean, granted, he can see spirits, but I mean, he didn't go through any training to do that, so I don't even know. I don't even know if really Manta's ability to see spirits is going to come back in the future or not. I mean, I guess it would make sense, but I mean, I don't know because they waited a very long time if they were going to do it at any point. I think it's like too late to give him the ability to have a guardian spirit.
It's possible.
I mean, anything's possible because he's here, but I don't know. It seems kind
Maybe
of late.
nobody in the entire anime will have a guardian spirit.
Well, with the way How's doing with things, he's going to obliterate all humans on Earth. Actually, speaking of that, before we end this off here, when he does obliterate all humans on the planet, is he going to obliterate all the spirits too?
Are you talking about the human extinction attack?
Okay, we're going to end it off here. See you guys next week. Bye.